This is assignment number 4 on roles and trends, the use of digital simulation in the classroom for PIDP 3100, Foundations of Adult Education. This digital presentation is done by Doug Reed and Kat Hazard. So to get us started, we want to talk about roles and trends and the use of digital simulation in the classroom. So what we'll be looking at today is our learners, trends in the field, apprenticeship training and adult education, how we're identifying these trends and what kind of effect are they having on our classroom, as well as expanding roles and responsibilities for adult educators. First of all, let's talk about adult learners in apprenticeship trades. Who are they? These are adults that are currently working and are required to take time off for technical training, as well as English second language students. What are they learning? They've got specific trades training to move into the next step of their apprenticeship, as well as they're going to get a pay increase when they've completed this step. When are they coming to school? It's actually deemed necessary for you to attend approximately once a year for 2 to 4 years, depending on what trade you're taking. Where are these students coming from? We have both local and out-of-town students coming in, and how they're learning is mostly with in-class delivery, both of hands-on learning as well as technical knowledge in the classroom. So let's take a look at trends that we're seeing in the field. When we're looking at trends in the field, especially with apprenticeship, the use of electronic devices like cell phones are restricted on job sites for safety and security. But to combat that, we're also seeing that supervisors are more likely to use technology like tablets and smartphones for management tasks. Now, turning to Google or other search engines prior to looking up information in old textbooks or field manuals is becoming more popular. We're also seeing that trade-specific apps are coming out on your phone so that you can use them to do more complex calculations and design trade-specific systems using these tools. Trends that we're seeing in apprenticeship training, first of all, we're noticing that a lot of our students are tending to use their phones more than their texts for information, and this can lead to misinformation. We've also got learners with families, and they may choose to study at times when an instructor is not available for help. As well as we've got learners who prefer to challenge an exam rather than taking the technical training, so they're usually staying at home or continuing to work through this time. This means they may miss out on in-class exercises that they wouldn't be getting in the field. So now we have learners using online tools to better their understanding of topics learned in the classroom, and they can review them at their leisure. Trends in adult education that we're seeing is we are seeing that more open learning courses are being offered to provide individuals with options for upgrading and completing post-secondary education without taking time off work or being away from their families. Learners are being more likely to seek out their information using different online resources, and they're also looking for more flexibility, especially with fluctuating schedules of modern lifestyle and that work-play balance. It's very beneficial also for English second language students where language might be a barrier in the classroom. It gives them an opportunity to learn things at their own pace, and if a translation is required, then they can use that as well. So how do these different trends affect the use of digital simulation in the classroom? Well, first of all, we've got trades training. So we've got specific objectives that we're trying to meet in order to progress. We've also got field use of technology as well as apps that are doing the work a little bit more effectively. And then we've got learner preferences for flexibility and self-directed learning, and all three of these things really tie themselves well into online delivery and use of digital simulations in order to learn different bits of material when they're within the classroom. So who else is identifying and utilizing digital simulation in the classroom? Well, there's numerous other schools, including different departments within SAIT. We've also got, we went to a national pipe trades instructors conference last year in Victoria, and their hosting actually showed us a presentation on improvements and student response regarding online content, and the response was actually really good from the students. We've also got K-12 classrooms are using a lot of different online simulation websites to aid student comprehension of key topics. A lot of things have been turned into games so that younger students can learn the basic topics like math, for example. Now, this is an example that we actually use with our students regarding blueprinting. So it starts them off with a three-dimensional figure of some piping, a little piping arrangement. And then they're supposed to take a look at it and see what would they see if they were looking at a 2D version of the same piece of pipe. So it'll run through a couple of different examples and give them an opportunity to take that piece and rotate it to the correct view that you want to look at. So after they go through a couple of examples, now they're given an opportunity to actually fill in the blanks themselves using the information that they've already learned. So they can actually go in here and put in the information that they think is correct. They've got an opportunity to check the information. They can also complete it if they aren't quite sure what to do. They can reset it and start back over again. You also see we've made a bit of a mistake here, so when we check it, it'll actually give us what's correct and what still needs to be fixed. So we can go back in, fix it, check it, verify that it's correct, and if it's good to go, we can move on to the next example. So what benefits do simulations offer for our learners? First of all, it's giving them an opportunity to learn something new. You can use interactive demonstrations, or you can use something like in the previous example that we just showed you, where students can guess and check their work and see whether or not they've got the information correct. It gives an opportunity to learn at their own pace, as well as you're going to get instant feedback. So rather than having to wait for an assignment to come back to see whether or not you actually understand a topic, you can see right away whether or not you're getting those new concepts. Now, unlimited replay is another thing that's really good. So if there's a concept that you want to practice when you're going back for studying, or if it's something that it's not quite clicking for you as a student, you have the opportunity to continue doing it over and over again until it works for you. As well as there's little to no emotional response. So if you think about something like taking paramedic training, for example, there's obviously a lot of stress that goes into the actual job. So removing that emotional response while you're actually learning the material, it means that that information is going to be there, hopefully when you get into a stressful situation. So helping with learners' retention of the information. Overall, I think this gives us happy students. These are students that have learned the information, they've got it available. Overall, it's very beneficial for most students. Expanding roles and responsibilities. So this was one that I thought was really interesting. When we take a look at the typical classroom, when we see ourselves going into adult education, for some reason this is sort of what comes to mind. But this isn't necessarily what we have to teach. So being a subject matter expert isn't enough anymore. We actually need to adapt our learning styles a little bit and start meeting our students in the middle. Chalkboards are a thing of the past in a lot of cases. So now we've got an opportunity to be a little bit more hands-on with our students, give them computer simulations to use. They've got the tech and they are going to continue to use it. So we really need to adapt ourselves, and we need to be able to embrace these changes and bring them into the classroom for more effective learning and more effective teaching when we're looking at our student success. So just to recap, we talked a little bit about who our learners were, what they're expecting, where they're coming from, etc. We also talked about the trends that we have in the field in apprenticeship training and adult education, how we're identifying these trends, what kind of effect they're having on our classroom, as well as expanding roles and responsibilities for adult educators moving forward. Thank you very much for watching this video. You'll be following up with a resource page in a moment, and hopefully this will given you some information that you'll be able to bring more digital simulation effectively into your classroom.